Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, I am talking to the very recent 33rd overall pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, and one of the newest Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It is Logan Hall. Logan, how you doing today, man?
I'm really good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. You've got to feel on top of the world, man. You literally are just a few days out from being drafted into the NFL, specifically with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're going to be talking about that a little bit here in this interview today. But Logan, real quick, right off the bat here, I want to talk to you about some stuff outside of football, right? Because I know that it's more than just football, right? You have other hobbies outside of football. And just for everybody who's going to be watching this video, Bucs fans, to get to know you better, what do you do outside of football, man?
I'm a really low key guy. When I'm not playing football or working out and things like that, I'm in the home. I have a newborn son, so I guess you could say my interests have realigned. Spending time with my family, walking my dog, playing video games. Love top golf, love bowling, things like that. Really enjoy those things.
Okay, yeah, we do. Hey, we do have a top golf in Tampa, so I'm sure you'll be.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. I'll be a frequent user.
There you go. Any specific video games you play, like Madden or anything along those lines?
I typically play, Call of Duty, Warzone,
Okay.
Apex Legends, things like that.
Okay.
The first-person shooters.
Okay, a lot of the battle royales.
Yeah, Fortnite.
Okay. Yeah. Have you ever thought about streaming? Because I know some of the guys in the league, they end up doing like live streaming on Twitch or YouTube or things along those lines.
Yeah, I don't think I'm that entertaining, man.
Well, hey, you never know, man. You never know.
Yeah.
But that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Like I said, it's always cool to get to hear what you guys do outside of football, and sometimes, it's nice to just sit down and relax, right? And kind of just
no
do
doubt.
different types of things in life. But moving on and diving into that football side of it a little bit, man. Whenever I look at you and your career from high school to college to the NFL, there's been a lot that you've been able to do in a short amount of time, and I think it's been awesome. And whenever I look at your career, one thing I wanted to ask you was, what were the driving factors for you and your passion for football in high school, college, and now going to the NFL? What were some of those big motivators for you?
Starting out, I played football, because my friends did it, thought it was cool, looked really fun, and it just kind of became like a part of me. I've been playing this since I was 10 years old. Third division Pee Wee. So I can't imagine my life without football. It's so much fun. I love playing it. It's probably the only legal way you can get into a fight, actually like put your hands on somebody.
Yeah.
And you won't get in trouble for it. So really enjoy the game. Got a lot of love and appreciation for it.
I gotcha. Is there any specific like coach or athlete or person or people in your life that you look to as like role models or motivators for, going all the way to the NFL and just for playing football as long as you have?
I definitely have a lot of admiration for people that have kind of helped me on this journey along the way. Position coaches, strength coaches, former players, but people I really look up and try and be like. I love watching Eric Armstead. I feel like we're real similar, and I see a lot of his game in mind. Look up to Ed Oliver, obviously. He played at such a high level. Aaron Donald as well, for obvious reasons. People like that.
Yeah, I gotcha. And, kind of looking at your time in high school and college and, everything in between, it was always defensive line for the most part, right? As far as I know, it's always been the defensive line, specifically defensive end, sometimes defensive tackle. What made you want to play on the defensive side of the football, the defensive end? Like you said, it's a legal way to get in a fight, basically, and defensive line's a very physical type of position. So was there anything specific that made you interested in wanting to play defensive line as long as you have and as consistently as you have?
I kind of have the prototypical size. I would say to be a defensive lineman, I'm 6'6", about 285, 290. Obviously, I was not that at that point.
Right.
But I've always been real tall, real big, bigger than all the other kids. So it was kind of natural. I actually played a little bit of tight end early in my days. And I not quite coordinated enough to catch them balls out there. So it was natural for me to kind of live in those trenches. So it was kind of happened that way.
So basically, what you're saying is that fake field goal situations, you know, rolling out, catching a pass, or maybe lining up in the offense could be in your future? That's essentially what you're saying, right?
I def, Man, I definitely think I could do that. You know, go on a fake field goal. You know, go out for a pass. But yeah, I definitely my home position is on that D line. You know, my hand in the dirt.
Understandable, man. Like you said, you know, it's something that's always been ingrained in you, the size, the physicality, and everything. So that's awesome to hear that that's just been something that's always been a part of what you've been able to do, you know, growing up around football. Another thing I want to talk about here is your time in college, Logan. You know, you spent 4 years at Houston. We're going to talk about a little bit of some of the guys you're going to be playing with or playing against now that you're in the NFL. But, you know, 4 years at Houston, your senior year was fantastic, right? You put up a lot of amazing stats. In fact, you know, from the research I had done, statistically, your senior season was about just as good, if not even a little bit better in certain regards than your previous 3 seasons combined, you know, in terms of stats and whatnot. What do you attribute that blow up in your season, in your senior season to, in terms of just stats and overall productivity?
You know, the number one probably reason I would say is experience, just being that it was my 4th year in the program. Had a lot of stuff figured out. The game slowed down. And, you know, it just kind of happened that way. I grew, you know, I probably put on maybe 15, 20 pounds from my junior to senior season of good weight, solid muscle, still moving really well. And I just, you know, it's my 4th year in the program. So had a lot of experience under my belt, and it just allowed me to fly around and make more plays that I wasn't able to make before.
And going in the NFL now, I believe you're 285, 290 around there. So going in the NFL now, fitting into, you know, a Todd Bowles type scheme as a 3-4, is that something you expect to do again? Is kind of put on a little bit more weight and bulk up even more so?
You know, I feel like I'm in a good weight now. Obviously, if it's a need for them, if it's a need for me to gain weight, I can obviously do that really easily. My frame will support it. But I feel like 285, 290 is a good weight. I don't foresee me having to gain weight, but we'll see.
And diving into like the pre-draft process, Logan, you know, the combine, the Senior Bowl, the private workouts, the meetings, all these different types of things. You know, I've talked to guys before, and it seems like it is a very fun process, but also a very stressful process at the same time. So in your personal experience, Logan, how was that going through meetings and all these other different types of things you had to go through throughout that pre-draft process? And do you have any interesting stories from it?
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It was really fun. Got to meet a lot of new people, learned a lot of things. But just like you said, it was really stressful. Just being, you know, having to learn, like, you know, for instance, the Senior Bowl, having to learn a new defensive scheme, techniques, you know, remembering faces, remembering, you know, going through those meetings. And I feel like everything was so like slaughtered, our schedule. You didn't really have any free time to kind of decompress, which is, you know, it was only a week. It wasn't that bad, but yeah, definitely stressful. Same thing as the combine. Didn't have a lot of time. You know, you weren't in the hotel room, but except to sleep, it felt like. Enjoyed my time there.
Yeah, no, I got you, man. That's one way I've heard it described before is like a whirlwind, right? There's so many different types of things. You barely have time to think, you know, before you're getting pulled in all these different types of meetings and all these other different types of things. So I completely understand where you're coming from when you say like, hey, I barely had time, you know, to do anything else besides just meetings and everything else that had occurred there, man. So I completely get where you're coming from. Besides the pre-draft process, you know, and some comparisons that were made, one guy that you were compared to a lot was Will Golston, who you get to play with now on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You had talked about Eric Armstead, Aaron Donald, and some of these other players that you had looked up to, you know, going into the NFL as well. You know, are there any other specific players that you'd like to mold your game after besides the ones that you had said with like Eric Armstead and some of those other guys?
Forrest Buckner. Really any like, you know, dynamic, you know, kind of longer 3 technique. There's a couple of them. I forget his name. Yeah, there's a couple of them. Yeah, just people that are like really good pass rushers that have a variety of moves. That are just dynamic players. Yeah, I kind of see myself in that light too. Real athletic, really good at rushing the passer. So, you know, I'm always looking to learn something new from them.
Yeah,
and improve my game.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, you were drafted number 33 overall. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they had picked 27. They had traded down with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Then you were taken at the top of day 2 of the NFL draft. How did that feel? You know, I said it at the top of this interview, man, but you know, it's got to be a feeling of being on top of the world, right? Describe that feeling of being drafted by Tampa and just overall the emotions and just the feelings that came with that moment.
Man, it was unreal to be there with my family and share that experience with them. And it was just an unreal feeling. So much gratitude. You know, it was just an answered prayer. You know, I had a lot of conversations with God, and I knew He was going to put me right where I belong. So, like, for that to come to fruition was just it was an unreal feeling. It was amazing.
Yeah, and let me ask you this. You know, with some guys, you know, they don't even know they're going to get drafted by a specific team. In your case, did you know you were going to get drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Did you have discussions with them that led you to believe, like, hey, this seems like a pretty reasonable thing that could happen?
I didn't know for sure if it was going to be Tampa Bay. I mean, they didn't tell me anything.
Right.
But they gave it away. But I definitely knew they were interested. There was, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 teams that I knew for sure I was on their radar. I wouldn't say Tampa Bay I knew better than anybody else, but they did make it known that I was probably one of the only 3 decent 3 technique tackle position, one of those in the draft. So knowing that, I was like, okay, well, I'm in the top 3 defensive linemen, you know.
Right.
So I definitely, whenever they were at the top of the second, I felt real good. Didn't know for sure if they was going to hear my name called, but when I got that phone call, man, it was just like so much relief, you know.
Yeah, it's you know, I've seen guys describe it before. It's just like all this weight off your shoulder, you know, because you're like, man, it's done, great, you know, it's a finality to a type situation, you know. Is that kind of how you would describe that feeling?
Yeah, no doubt. As soon as I got that phone call, I was like, okay, I made it.
Yeah.
You know, like I made it.
Yeah. And, you know, Logan, with you joining the Bucs, right? You're joining a team right now that's going to be competing for a Super Bowl again this upcoming season. They won the Super Bowl back in 2020, made it all the way to divisional round last year. How does it feel to be playing on a team where that's kind of the expectation right now is, hey, going to be competing for a Super Bowl, going to be trying to go to the playoffs and all these other different types of things?
Yeah, it's got me extremely motivated. I just want to contribute wherever I can possibly. And being that, you know, that's on the table for the team, it'd be so amazing to get a ring my rookie year, you know. So I'm going to go hard for the team and give them everything I got and go hard for my brothers and do everything I can to put the team in a position to win.
And one guy you're going to be next to pretty consistently on the defensive line is, I like to just call him the human brick wall, Vita Vea. I mean, the dude is absolutely massive. Talk about how you feel in terms of playing next to such a large and imposing type of defensive lineman there right next to you in the trenches.
I'd love, you know, I'm real fired up about that. You can double that guy all day. Get me singled up and, you know, because he's got all the respect and the hype right now. Yeah. So playing against him, you know, I feel like, you know, the focus will be on him a little bit. And I have an opportunity to get in and work. But, yeah, really, really happy about that. Makes my job a little bit easier to play next to an ass kicker like that.
Yeah, and you know, another guy you're playing with here, Logan, and I don't know if you've seen the memes on social media, but a lot of people have been talking about it. You're playing with Tom Brady. And, yeah, you know, that's an awesome thing already. You know, one of the greatest, if not the greatest players of all time. How does it feel to know that you're going to be playing with essentially a living legend here?
Yeah, for real. Yeah, I'm really excited. I went on a top 30 visit and, you know, I saw his locker and it was like crazy to me that I was even there looking at his locker. So to meet him in person, I'm really excited. You know, everybody says he's a nice guy and good leader. And so, you know, I'm looking forward to meeting him and learning as much as I can possibly. It'd be cool.
In the memes too of, you know, I've seen it reported, you know, it's like, hey, Tom Brady's been in the NFL longer than Logan Hall's been alive. You know, have you seen that? Did you recognize that whenever you had first been drafted to the team? Like, well, that's kind of a weird feeling.
I definitely knew he was old. I didn't know he was that old.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty crazy. I saw the memes, you know, I saw Bleacher Report, like, you know, posted it on IG and Twitter. But when I was like, sitting there looking at like the numbers side by side, 416, 2000, that's when he was drafted, and 422, 2000, that's when I was born. I was like, dang, this dude's old.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I mean, like, old is gold, right? He's still doing it at a high level. So, yeah, it was pretty cool to see.
Well, it's like we said, the guy's limitless, in a way. The guy's just an absolute living legend. So, Logan, going into the NFL, you can play both defensive tackle and defensive end. And you talked about, having a guy next to Vita Vea, or having a guy like Vita Vea next to you is going to be an awesome thing, right? Having just that guy get double teamed, you having one-on-ones. What position do you feel most comfortable in? Because I know the Tampa Bay Buccaneers like to use a lot of versatility, moving around their defensive linemen. And what have those conversations been like with the Bucs in terms of where they see you as a fit on this Buccaneers front seven?
They, on base downs, they see me as a three technique. That'll probably be my home position primarily. But I do have the versatility to play in a 4 and a 5. So if they're ever short on depth or certain like goal line packages and they need a big end, I'm very capable of playing that as well. I can play the 4 at a high level. It's really whatever they need, but ideally, or at least I'm under the impression I will be a 3 for the most part.
Going into pre-draft processes, there's a lot of analysis that goes on of players' strengths and things that players do need to work on going into the upcoming rookie season that they're going to have and these different types of things. But Logan, I want to hear it from you in terms of your strengths, what you're going to contribute right away for the Bucs. What do you think are some of your top positive qualities that in terms of your play that are going to be able to help out the team right away?
I think, I add a lot of value as a pass rusher. I feel like it's a good mismatch being in there on a smaller, less athletic guard. I feel like I'm good living inside down in that 3 technique. So I feel like I add a lot of juice and a lot of value as a pass rusher. As far as like, things I need to improve on, I think I could, probably work on being more conscientious of staying down in the run. I'm 6'6", so at times my pads do get high. So just being real mindful of that, and repetition is everything. So during team sessions and striking the sled, things like that, just working on my pad level will get me right.
Sure. And one guy you're going to be playing with now in that front seven from time to time is linebacker Grant Stewart, who you went to school with there at Houston. He was drafted last year with the last pick of the 2021 NFL draft. You were taken, obviously, now with the 33rd pick here in this upcoming draft. And now he's your teammate once again. How does that feel to be playing with Grant again and, also be, just having that feeling of having your old teammate back with you again on the defense?
I'm definitely, I'm really excited. Grant's a great football player, great teammate, good leader. Never got a question out, how he's working. He's always going to come 110% and work hard. So, to know that there's a guy like that on the team, gives me a good feeling because, he's going to do everything he can to put us in a position to win as well. But yeah, excited to get back in the locker room with him and learn things from him about the team and just catch up with them, things like that.
Sure. And one guy you're going to be playing against now is another former teammate of yours, which I'm sure you will get very ingratiated into this rivalry. But the New Orleans Saints have one of your former fellow defensive lineman, Payton Turner, on their team now. And what do you think that's going to be like playing against him twice a year and possibly even add in a little bit of something to a competitive rivalry somewhere down the line as well?
Yeah, I'm really excited. We're no strangers to competing against each other. Every offseason we got drills that we're competing against each other. I think even this draft, we're competing against each other. He went 28th overall, I went 33rd. So, we're always competing. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll never stop as long as we're playing. So, yeah, looking forward to sacking this quarterback.
One more questions I have here for you is this. Going on to the Bucs, there's a lot of different players, both on offense and on defense, that are offering so many different types of the things to this team for being productive. For you personally, who are some of the players or teammates that you're excited to play with or learn from, either on defense, offense, special teams, whatever it may be? Just guys that you're excited to learn from and play with.
Obviously, number one, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. I just want to meet the guy, but definitely, being out on the field with them or being around in the locker room and just learning things from him. Being a young guy and as old as he is and as many things as he's seen, really looking forward to that. Be like a sponge soaking everything up. Grant, looking to get back in the locker room. He was a good mentor, good leader when he was at Houston. Devin White, all and any of the D linemen. I'm a rookie, man, so anybody that's got some game that they want to put me on, I'm all ears. I'm trying to learn as much as I can so I can add the most value as fast as possible.
And Logan, the last thing I want to ask you is this. You've been through a lot already. The pre-draft process, high school, college, getting drafted now, so many different types of things that have shaped who you are right now as a player and as a person going into your rookie season here in the NFL. But I want to ask this, for Bucs fans who may watch this video, what should Buccaneers fans expect from Logan Hall this upcoming season as a player and as a person?
Undeniable effort, juice, and some sacks, no doubt. I plan to come in and, definitely be a force on that D-line, and do as much as I possibly can. And as a person, you can expect me to be a great teammate, doing things in the community, trying to help out, and just trying to be better every day.
For sure. And Logan, I want to thank you again for taking time to talk with me today. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. I'm very excited to watch you play this upcoming season in your rookie year. I think you're going to do great, man. I really do. I wish you nothing but the best. And, for everybody watching this video, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Let us know your thoughts and opinions about everything that we talked about down in the comments section below. We would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Logan, before we go ahead and end off this video, do you have any final words for anybody watching this video?
Go Bucs.
There you go. I couldn't have put it better myself, man. I couldn't have. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and we will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs. See you guys soon.